Milestone punked Icon for this? Damn. Just damn.
Now available for pre-order on Kindle. John Haynes at Death's Door. The man who rules the world takes on the Greek god of death in this action-packed all-new John Haynes series adventure. Pre-order your copy of John Haynes at Death's Door on Kindle today.
Hi everyone, it's Shawn here, and I'm here to perform a eulogy for Milestone 2.0. And your Milestone 2.0 is dead at this point because in Blood Syndicate number 5, your Milestone editorial run by Reginald Hudlin made the critical mistake of nerfing Icon, its strongest hero. And with this nerfing of Icon, Milestone's strongest hero, the entire foundation and structure of Milestone's universe has been damaged beyond repair. And at this point, your Milestone 2.0 has basically crashed and burned. Now, in that 5th issue of Blood Syndicate, your Icon went to go out here and challenge Holocaust, who had just burnt up and blew up the Paris Island Bridge. And after he blew up the Paris Island Bridge, he then sent several Bang Babies to attack Icon and then defeated Icon with their help. And with this, your Icon was basically nerfed from being Milestone's strongest hero to appearing to look like a complete punk. Now, your writers want to say that they did this to show how your Holocaust was a brilliant strategist and to also go out here and show how only the Syndicate could defeat Holocaust, but what they did was burn up their chances of being able to further build their universe from this point. Because in their attempt to try to make the Syndicate look strong, they made Icon look weak, and they made their overall structure of their universe appear weak, because if your strongest hero gets jobbed out so easily, then nobody can really take your universe serious at this point. And this is where the 5th issue of Blood Syndicate basically destroyed the structure for the Milestone universe and basically made it where this universe no longer has any more credibility whatsoever. Now, this 6th issue further adds to the damage done to not only Icon's image, but also damages the Blood Syndicate's image because it just runs very contradictory. You have Holocaust looking strong when he beats Icon, and then you have the Blood Syndicate, who are supposed to be the only ones who can take out your Holocaust. They're made to look weak as well in this battle because as this battle goes on, in the initial stages, the entire Syndicate winds up getting killed, and then as a result, the only way they could beat your Holocaust is through a flashback ex machina. And I was really pissed off when I saw them use the flashback ex machina. That really aggravated me because that's just lazy writing. I would like to think that from the foundations of the origin they created with the Blood Syndicate being ex-military, they would have found a way to strategically beat your Holocaust in the initial pages because that would have made the Blood Syndicate appear to be a strong team. That would have basically made the Blood Syndicate appear to be more formidable than Holocaust. But the whole thing is that this whole storyline, it eats up a lot of pages, and it also just goes out here and makes the Blood Syndicate look equally weak because instead of them coming in and organically finding a way to strategize to beat Holocaust, what we get is a flashback ex machina and then them trying again. Again, this is just really lazy and inept writing, and lazy and inept writing is something that has been a major problem with Milestone 2.0 from the just as I call it, lazy way they've been writing Icon, where they haven't really taken him and presented him in the right fashion because they just didn't want to do the research on the character and his relationship with Rocket, to the effeminized way they have presented Static, to Hardware getting his passport and going overseas because he's running away from Edwin Alva, who alleges he created the Q juice for the Big Bang. It's just been really sloppy writing all around. And this 6th issue of the Blood Syndicate, which closes out Season 1 of the 2.0 of the Milestone universe, is just the sloppiest writing I have seen, because again, you're coming in with a Deus Ex Machina, and as you're doing the Deus Ex Machina, you then have him where the Holocaust is getting confronted by all the members of these former gangs, and it all leads to this anticlimactic ending where your Holocaust is faded into the bridge, and Tech 9 winds up killing your Holocaust in the most anticlimactic ending to this build-up for this so-called Season 1 confrontation. Because with this whole confrontation, we get no real payoff, and with no real payoff, what we get is a mediocre story which could have built up into something interesting, but there's nothing to build further on because you've already pumped out Icon, and then you've gone out here and killed Holocaust, so you have no way to build into the conspiracy as related to the Q-Juice, and you have no way into going out here and making Holocaust into a formidable and credible threat that takes place, that follows after his confrontation with Tech 9. So you basically have no foundation for building any further stories that are on the crumbling foundation of the entire Milestone universe. So the Milestone universe really doesn't have any other place to go from here at this point after this anticlimactic 6th issue. And the writing here, just basically, they were trying to go and do something different, and what they've done is write themselves into a corner. And as they've written themselves into a corner, they want to make it look like the Blood Syndicate is going to be the most powerful ones in Paris Island, and that's possibly what's going to happen because there's nobody there to challenge them. There's no way to build into any more bad guys. I mean, when you're doing comics, you have to understand that it's about endings and beginnings, and this story basically wrapped up all of the storylines and now has no real place to go at this point. So after this, we then have Icon and Rocket flying in, and this really, again, it's just anticlimactic because you have a punked Icon and a punked Rocket flying in after your Blood Syndicate went out here and defeated your Holocaust. And again, just bad writing all around, which destroys the entire structure of the Milestone universe and basically makes the Milestone universe 2.0 show us that I would rather have 1.0 because 1.0 had way better storytelling, way better character development, and this 6th issue, I just see it as the eulogy for Milestone 2.0, which has basically crashed and burned due to poor editorial management by Reginald Hudlin, bad writing, and no real focus on solid character development, and no understanding on how to go out here and develop core things to comic storytelling, like an overreaching arc and character transformation arcs. Yes, there were some interesting things in the Blood Syndicate at the beginning with the ex-military coming in to protect the community, but it all falls apart because you kill the villain. That is something that's done on CW shows, but in a comic book, you always make it where the villain gets defeated and hopefully can come back another day to be a formidable threat like your Holocaust was in the original Milestone universe. And as his threat was building, he was becoming a villain not only to the Blood Syndicate, he became a villain to Icon, he became a villain to Static, and we got to see all of these different aspects of him being this gangster, being this hustler, being this all-around threat to everyone, and that's all been denied us because the writers here wanted to go out here and go for a CW ending rather than go out here and give us an ending that could eventually lead to a beginning, because there's no way for your Holocaust to come back at this point because he's embedded in the Paris Island Bridge, his head's been blown off, and at this point he's no longer a threat anymore, and you cannot build any more stories with a villain. And you need villains more than heroes in some cases because villains drive the conflict, and that's the big problem with your Blood Syndicate and the entire Milestone universe. You don't have the rogues galleries to build into credible villains. I mean, I look at your Milestone 2.0, and it's a major disappointment. And with this whole video review, I'm just doing the eulogy for your Milestone 2.0 because there's no place for it to go story-wise, there's no place for it to go character-wise, and that's because they launched 2.0 based on feelings and based on Reginald Hudlin's delusions and dreams of turning it into TV series and merchandising, and instead of focusing on creating stories that would create a interest in that type of licensing and merchandising, we get a lot of flash as related to storytelling, a lot of social justice as related to agenda, but we don't get any substance as related to the stories. And with this sixth issue of Blood Syndicate, it's the 187 for the Blood Syndicate. It's the 187 for the Milestone 2.0 universe, because there's no place for the Milestone 2.0 universe to go, but nowhere at this point. Now, if you want to pick up my first comic, Esteem No Good Deed, you can find that comic on Kindle for 99 cents on Amazon.com right now. And if you want to pick up some of my action-packed fantasy fiction on the SJS Direct imprint, like the ISIS series, the Esteem series, the John Haynes series, and the books of the Spinsterella trilogy, and my vampire novel Eternal Night, and other novels I've done like The Thetas and A Recipe for Success, you can find those books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find them on Smashwords, the iBook Store, and Google Play. And if you want to see me do more comic review videos like this one, and want to see me get the money to be able to buy these comics and be able to support other comic creators, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.
Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited, John Haynes, the man with nothing to lose. The man who rules the world runs into the irresistible force of a man with nothing to lose in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get the regular and variant editions of John Haynes, the man with